designates former Minister John Saldivar, who is now banned from setting foot on U.S. soil. The former Belmopan area rep says that the claims against him are unfounded and malicious. A murder near Crooked Tree, a father of two, is gunned down at home, and a police officer is knocked down and killed in line of duty. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Friday and Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings. It's here! Introducing Cellular World's virtual store, providing you with an easy and reliable way to shop conveniently, anytime, anywhere. It's easy as click, chat, and shop. Simply add us to WhatsApp at 615-5141 and chat with any of our virtual shopping experts to inquire about your desired products. Place your order, arrange your payment via bank transfer, choose your preferred shipping method, and enjoy your purchase upon receipt. Start shopping at Cellular World's virtual store, and you will be entered to win cash and other prizes daily. And that's not all. Take advantage of our exclusive virtual shopping promotions, more prizes, and surprises. So don't delay. Add us to WhatsApp and start shopping virtually today. Cellular World. Low prices, more choices.
Do you qualify for Amnesty 2022? This is your opportunity to find out. You qualify if you are registered as an asylum seeker with the Refugee Department before the 31st of March 2020, residing in Belize before the 31st of December 2016, have children born in Belize on or before the 31st of December 2021, completed your education in Belize, married to a citizen of Belize for a year or more, living in a common law union with a citizen of Belize for 5 years or more, referred by the Department of Human Services, gainfully employed in Belize for 5 years. To find out more on how to apply, go online to www.immigration.gov.bz. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Social Security, transforming service delivery. My Social Security is your secure online account to manage all your Social Security information. My Social Security launched in March 2021 with registration service to apply online for new or replacement Social Security cards. Upgrades to My Social Security continues with a new look, enhanced customer experience, and its newest feature, Sickness Benefit Online application. With My Social Security, you can create your account, log in, and take control of your Social Security information. This includes applying for a new or replacement Social Security card for yourself, child, or dependent. Make appointments online and submit your complete sickness benefit claim package. Our customer care team is here to provide you, our valued customers, with real-time support. Connect with one of our customer care agents through direct messages on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, or live chat, or follow our YouTube channel for more information, tutorials, and guides. A complete 360 view of your Social Security information is coming soon, which includes a new employer portal for employers, businesses, and self-employed persons, contributions history and statements, all SSB benefits, medical portal for registered doctors, and fingerprint enrollment all in one place. Social Security at your fingertips. The significant enhancement of service delivery to you is here. My Social Security.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, November 15th. I am Sabrina Daly. Former Belmopan area representative John Saldivar has been banned for the foreseeable future from entering the United States. This afternoon, the U.S. Department of State issued a release informing that it has placed a designation on the erstwhile UDP minister for, quote, involvement in significant corruption, unquote. The designation was issued under Section 7031 of the U.S. Constitution, which makes Saldivar ineligible for a visa to enter the United States for an indefinite period. The designation also applies to Saldivar's immediate family, including his minor child. The State Department's release stopped short of giving a reason for Saldivar's designation. Nonetheless, the former Minister of National Security has always maintained his innocence in the face of allegations of corruption, specifically in connection with allegations of his involvement with convicted fraudster Lev Derman. Back in February 2020, Derman stood before a courtroom in Salt Lake City, Utah, accused of defrauding the U.S. government in a biofuel scheme that reportedly netted over $1 billion. 1 month later, Derman was convicted of 10 counts of various offenses arising out of his participation in the conspiracy. As for Saldivar's alleged involvement with Derman, court testimony from one of Derman's former partners, Jacob Kingston, revealed that Derman gave the former Minister of National Security stacks of cash. Kingston testified, saying that the cash was given in stacks of $10,000 during a trip that Derman and Kingston made to Belize in 2012. Kingston even told the court that Saldivar used his ministry's boat to transport them to southern Belize. Court documents from the trial also revealed communications between Kingston and Saldivar in February 2014. Those text messages revealed that Saldivar agreed to go to Miami to collect $50,000 on February 12. At the time, Saldivar issued a statement questioning the credibility of those text messages. He went as far as suggesting that they were deliberately manufactured. He also claimed that the cash he received from Lev Derman were campaign contributions. And this is the position that Saldivar has maintained throughout the last 2 years. But now, the U.S. State Department is saying that they, quote, have credible information that while in office, Saldivar accepted bribes in exchange for improperly facilitating the acquisition of Belizean immigration documents and misused a U.S.-donated Coast Guard boat for personal gain, unquote. It is yet another chapter in the never-ending Saldivar saga. But as we said, Saldivar has maintained his innocence, as he did back in August when he was interviewed by News 5's Paul Lopez.
Under the last administration, you were accused of your own vote.
Not accused of corruption. So let's stop that right bloody there. I was never accused of corruption. I was accused of receiving campaign contributions from somebody for my community. And it was never proven in any court of law that I did anything illegal or unlawful.
Do you believe that your name has been redeemed enough for you to stand out here with integrity?
I have all the integrity in the world. I've never been proven to not have my integrity. People have been trying to tell a story, but nobody has come up with anything to say that I'm a corrupt person.
Sir, give me one thought on your bid in Belmopan and how that's been going and your support you're receiving in Belmopan, right?
I feel very confident. The people of Belmopan are very intelligent people. They have sifted through the noise that was there in 2020, and they understand exactly what the difference is now between a John Saldivar UDP government in Belmopan and a Mira PUP government in Belmopan. They understand the difference.
Mira is not getting the job done.
Certainly not, and certainly not in the quantity that I used to get it done.
John Saldivar responded to the U.S. Department of State's declaration late this evening. In a social media statement, Saldivar said that the declaration is, quote, left field, baseless and malicious, unquote. According to Saldivar, as a minister of government, he conducted himself with honesty and integrity. He says he is at a loss as to why the U.S. Department of State would want to target him and his family without providing absolutely any evidence to explain their conclusion. Saldivar says he is consulting with local attorneys and is fully aware that he will need a U.S. attorney to defend himself in the U.S. The former Belmopan area representative contends that there are persons with powerful allies in the U.S. Department of State who want him out of Belizean politics. But he says he is here to stay and will not allow these, quote, unfounded and malicious allegations to drive me out of politics, unquote. Late this evening, opposition leader Moses Shine Barrow responded to the designation placed on John Saldivar. Barrow says, quote, the opposition denounces corruption by government officials in any form. We treat very serious the allegations of corruption being made by the U.S. State Department against former Minister John Saldivar. Notwithstanding our zero tolerance of corruption by public officials, we must be guided by the fundamental principles of due process, and in the Belize judicial system, all are innocent until proven guilty. The opposition will take steps to gather all the facts presented by the U.S. State Department and the accused as we determine the way forward to implement our anti-corruption policy in a fair and just manner, demonstrating to the nation we have zero tolerance for corruption, unquote. A father of two is dead following a shooting incident on Monday night near the entrance to Crooked Tree Village. By all accounts, Reese Reverall was quiet and troubled no one. But last night, he was targeted by an unknown gunman who lured him out of his home by throwing rocks at his house. When Reverall went outside to see what was happening, he was pounced upon with lethal precision, shot once in the back, and left for dead at his front door. News 5's Isani Cayetano headed to Crooked Tree today and has the following story.
A deadly shooting incident at a residence near mile 31 on the Philip Goulton Highway has shattered a Belize City family. According to his sister, 31-year-old Reese Reverall was at home along with his girlfriend and their two children on Monday night, shortly after 9 o'clock, when someone threw a stone at the house. Her brother stepped outside to investigate the attack on two occasions and ended up being mortally wounded by gunfire.
Well, we get a phone call, from my sister-in-law, his girlfriend, and she told us that they were inside and they heard like a stone on the rooftop, and so Reese went out and he was looking to see if he saw anyone, and unfortunately there was no one, so he went back inside.
Riverall reportedly told his common-law wife that he was feeling a bit hungry. It was during that brief conversation that stones were once again hurled at their house.
After that, he heard another stone on his rooftop, and he went outside back. And when he went outside, he didn't see anyone again, and on his way, making his way back to his house, by his door, that's when he was shot in his back. He didn't even make it inside, but all that he could have said was, babe, I just get shot. They shot me. He said, I'm dead. And that's when he collapsed on the ground, and no pulse, no breath, nothing.
One single shot?
One single shot. And it seems as though it was like a close shot.
It is unclear why anyone would attack the laborer. When we asked his older sibling, Rayanne Riverall, earlier today, if her brother had any known enemies or recent misunderstandings, she said no. What comes to mind here as to why someone would attack Reese in the manner that they did?
To be honest, Isani, Reese isn't a troubled person unless you trouble him. And he hasn't have any enemies or, anyone that is threatening him. So that puzzling to know that someone shot my brother for no reason at all, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad.
How is the girlfriend and the kids? How are they holding up?
She is barely holding up. She hasn't slept from last night. She is traumatized by the whole thing, and every now and then she is crying, and I can only imagine how she feels. The little boy that is like about 3 or 4, he wants to know exactly what happened to Reese, and what can we say? He doesn't know exactly what is happening, and the other child that is left is his 3-month-old baby.
Reese Riverall has been living near the Crooked Tree Junction for the past 6 or 7 years.
So much questions pertaining to why my brother, why they took away our little gentle giant, why they took away a father from his 2 young children.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
A family in Crooked Tree Village has turned to the media to say that they do not appreciate the manner in which the police department is handling the investigation when they searched their home sometime after midnight this morning. According to an uncle of 4 of the persons who were detained, police initially arrived without a search warrant and kicked in his elderly parents' door, after which their surveillance cameras captured the policemen rifling through personal belongings that the family feels had nothing to do with a murder investigation. One of the relatives who did not want to leave his name out of fear that the police might go back to intimidate him told us via phone their version of how the search went.
I just go and say I told them here that somebody do a murder from over the side, and they say, well, they hold my nephew, and the same person they hold, he was right here sleeping. So they really tell them, if a man just commit a murder, why a man not come in the house go sleep? Look for try stamp open the door first, then look like one of them they in the house, one of the men open the door for them, and they gone inside and they start to ransack all the rooms there, mess up with stamp open all the doors, and then leave kids where they sleep and things for go ready for school. They wake them up, check in a wallet, check in under the pillow, under the mattress, so They gone back. They in there for a long while. They rip open my father's drawer with some stick, with some board and think all and anything. They lock up. Everything was locked up. The door was locked. They stamp open the door. The camera show everything that the door was locked and they stamp it open.
Coming up, Santander loses $4 million in sugarcane crops during Hurricane Lisa.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. While the idea here is of a tent with a covering and poles and stakes and ropes that secure it, the meaning is much more significant. The illustration is a challenge to the church to go beyond its four walls and to enlarge and expand its vision to embrace the world. Too often the church remains comfortable instead of challenged, and selfish instead of sacrificial. The church must spare not or be stingy or greedy in reaching the world with a message of hope. In October of 1792, the Missionary Society was formed in the home of Andrew Fuller for the purpose of missions. For the next 21 years, Fuller served as a leader of this organization, raising funds, writing periodicals, recruiting missionaries, and sending personal letters to those on the front lines. He fulfilled his promise to the great missionary William Carey, who upon his trip to the unknown world of India looked at the small band of brothers around him and said, "Well, I will go down in the well if you will hold the rope." Andrew Fuller held the rope. Suffering the loss of his first wife and 8 of their 11 children, Fuller persevered in the midst of severe affliction and overwhelming responsibilities. He longed for unreached peoples to hear the gospel. People often wonder how we can stay on television without soliciting contributions. I can tell you, I have fellow Christians at home in the States who are holding the rope while we are seeking to lengthen the lifeline. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
I had a black dog. His name was Depression. Whenever the black dog made an appearance, I felt empty and life just seemed to slow down. He could surprise me with a visit for no reason or occasion. The black dog made me look and feel older than my years. When the rest of the world seemed to be enjoying life, I could only see it through the black dog. Activities that usually brought me pleasure suddenly ceased to. He liked to ruin my appetite. He chewed up my memory and my ability to concentrate. Doing anything or going anywhere with the black dog required superhuman strength. At social occasions, he'd sniff out what confidence I had and chase it away. My biggest fear was being found out. I worried that people would judge me. Because of the shame and stigma of the black dog, I was constantly worried that I'd be found out. So I invested vast amounts of energy into covering him up. Keeping up an emotional lie is exhausting. Black dog could make me think and say negative things. He could make me irritable and difficult to be around. He would take my love and bury my intimacy. He loved nothing more than to wake me up with highly repetitive and negative thinking. He also liked to remind me how exhausted I was going to be the next day. Having a black dog in your life isn't so much about feeling a bit down, sad or blue. At its worst, it's about being devoid of feeling altogether. As I got older, the black dog got bigger and he started hanging around all the time. I'd chase him off with whatever I thought might send him running. But more often than not, he'd come out on top. Going down became easier than getting up again. So I became rather good at self-medication, which never really helped. Eventually, I felt totally isolated from everything and everyone. The black dog had finally succeeded in hijacking my life. When you lose all joy in life, you can begin to question what the point of it is. Thankfully, This was the time that I sought professional help. This was my first step towards recovery and a major turning point in my life. I learned that it doesn't matter who you are, the black dog affects millions and millions of people. It is an equal opportunity mongrel. I also learned that there was no silver bullet or magic pill. Medication can help some, and others might need a different approach altogether. I also learned that being emotionally genuine and authentic to those who are close to you can be an absolute game changer. Most importantly, I learned not to be afraid of the black dog, and I taught him a few new tricks of my own. The more tired and stressed you are, the louder he barks, so it's important to learn how to quiet your mind. It's been clinically proven that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mild to moderate depression as antidepressants, so go for a walk or a run and leave the mutt behind. Keep a mood journal. Getting your thoughts on paper can be cathartic and often insightful. Also keep track of the things that you have to be grateful for. The most important thing to remember is that no matter how bad it gets, if you take the right steps, talk to the right people, black dog days can and will pass. I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for the black dog, but he's been an incredible teacher. He forced me to re-evaluate and simplify my life. I learnt that rather than running away from my problems, it's better to embrace them. The black dog may always be part of my life, but he'll never be the beast that he was. We have an understanding. I've learned through knowledge, patience, discipline and humour, the worst black dog can be made to heal. If you're in difficulty, never be afraid to ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life.
I will be there. Thank you so much.
Why are you so excited?
Let me tell you a secret. I just got off the phone with Santa.
Hi, Santa. For Christmas, I want a pea shooter, a football. iPhone and a makeup for Christmas.
Oh, Ramon, 1 second.
We just learned that Santa's phone number has just been revealed. The number is 227-7132.
I'm sorry, Dad. I shared Santa's phone number.
The Belize Police Department is mourning the loss of one of its own tonight, following a fatal RTA on Monday in the Cayo district that claimed the life of Corporal Shannon Middleton. Two other persons, including Dylan Pommels and Luis Mejia, were also injured in the incident, which happened in the vicinity of Black Minetti. When police arrived at the scene of the accident, they observed a gray Honda Odyssey in a drain with extensive damage to its front portion. They also saw Middleton's lifeless body near a culvert. A short distance away, another victim was also observed lying on the side of a drain. News 5's Isani Cayetano headed west today and has the following story.
A fatal road traffic accident between miles 58 and 59 on the George Price Highway has claimed the life of a law enforcement officer who was on duty at the time of the incident. 34-year-old Shannon Middleton, a policeman from Kamalota Village, was along with scenes of crime personnel processing the scene of an accident when he was rammed and ran over by a vehicle that came barreling down Mount Hope Hill. His sister-in-law, who spoke with News 5 off camera, received a harrowing phone call from her sister shortly thereafter.
Well, I got a call from his wife, who is my sister, and she told me, she was frantic, and she said that an accident occurred and to call the ambulance because Shannon got really bad hurt. And so I called the ambulance. Well, I try contacting the ambulance, try calling 911. Apparently it doesn't work. I called Bert. Finally, I got in contact with Bert, and they said that they were going to be there. And so I rushed from Camalote all the way up to Tiketo. Not Tiketo, sorry. The Spanish Lookout Junction, probably like 2 minutes up from that. And I would say the ambulance was there in like roughly 25 to 30 minutes. And when I got there, there was this van, and it had him trapped under the culvert, and he was just there bleeding. He was not responsive. He wasn't saying anything.
According to Khalees Thimbrell, the first responders at the scene of the accident attempted to remove a victim who may have been trapped beneath the vehicle.
There was this like this wood, a 2x4 or whatever you call it. So I guess that they tried to lift the van up to remove somebody, and they hitched the van along the edge of the culvert, and they pulled the other guy out, but he was trapped. And then there was, I guess he's an officer, so like a whole bunch of other officers came on the scene, and they tried helping him, but really nobody didn't really want to touch him because, you know, like they don't have the training to touch him. They don't want to make stuff worse. And so when the ambulance reached, they took him out, and the personnel who was with the ambulance company, they checked his pulse, and he was gone.
In a sad twist, Middleton was knocked down and killed by someone he knew very well, a family friend. At the Roaring Creek police station, a flag is being flown half-mast. His sister-in-law describes him as someone who was amiable.
Well, he wore several different hats. He was a father, he was an officer, you know, a law enforcement officer. In everything that he did, he always did his best. He was very likable. People loved him. Pastor Hamilton was here this morning, and he said that he thought that everybody thought that they were his best friend because of, you know, he's just this loving person. So he was just an amazing person.
How's the family dealing with it? His immediate family and, of course, his extended family, your relatives.
Well, it's a tragedy, and everybody's devastated, and we are literally all in shambles trying to... We can't even fathom how this happened, how you know, he was so young, he was so full of life, he was only 34. How could something this tragic happen to him? Something so unfortunate happen to somebody that we love and we hold dearly to our heart. But here we are.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
Santander lost 5% of its sugarcane crop due to the strong winds and rain brought on by Hurricane Lisa. The initial assessment seemed worse, but acres upon acres of sugarcane lying flat on the ground. But once the rain cleared and the weather improved, those flattened sugarcane stalks rose up once again, a statement to the resilience of the plant. So, in the end, Santander estimates that it will be able to harvest 95% of its crops following Hurricane Lisa. That is the good news. But that 5% damage to Santander's crop is valued at a significant $4 million. The company's infrastructure also sustained significant damages. We spoke with Beverly Burke, the public relations manager at Santander, via Zoom.
The initial report, or when you look at the sugar cane and it's all just lying down, it would appear initially that it's a total loss. But the great thing about sugarcane is that it's extremely resilient. So once it gets dry, it will definitely pick right back up. So we of course experience some damages, but we're thinking that it's about 3 to 5% of our total crop, which it's not bad, but any loss, as you know, is not good. But for us, we are anticipating at least a 95% recovery, and that is dependent on, of course, the weather conditions from now through to December, January, when we actually start harvesting the sugarcane. So we are anticipating that with good dry weather, we should be okay to salvage a good 95%. What we have already calculated is the damages to the structure, because it wasn't just fields. We do have offices, we have our factory, we have our sugar storage facility. So it's complete for us. A couple roofs that we lost in the process. We had where the mill building is concerned, some damages in that respect so far as the roof and some siding. So that we have already worked out, and that's in the tune of about $500,000.
We also asked Burke whether the company is concerned about the quality of the sugarcane in the field given its exposure to flood waters and strong winds. Here is what she had to say.
We work on production. We work on the quality of the cane and what bricks we're going to yield. So if it is indeed that the cane is impacted severely based on the fact that, as I said, it was completely down on its side, and for a couple of days just sitting in water, it might impact that. However, we will not be able to speak directly until we actually start the harvesting, because once the harvest season officially begins, and this year we're planning on starting very early, we will then know exactly what that impact is. We're hoping that it's nothing major, in terms of the quality of the cane and the quality of the sugar that we can yield. So that will take us a little time for us to know exactly.
Today, Belmopan Mayor Sharon Palacio and a team of 50 City Council employees alighted a Floralia bus in Belize City and picked up shovels, rakes, and garbage bags to clean up parks and other areas of the city that Hurricane Lisa had affected. The team also cleared 3 areas of fallen debris left behind by the hurricane 2 weeks ago. It was their way of lending support to Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner. And for Mayor Palacio, it came in stride and also 1 week before Belmopan will get the same level of attention for its hurricane cleanup.
You can see we have several of our employees here. We call it Operation Compassion, and it's quite exciting.
So you brought your own truck and your own workers?
No, the truck is for here. We brought our own workers.
Okay. And they came on board a bus?
We came on a bus. We came on a very expensive bus for Floralia. I don't know how to say it properly. And they're parked by the Civic. And then to move around the city, we got a little bus supplied given to us by City Council.
Sure. And then, so you're doing just parks today? How many of them?
Okay, we have this park, and we have some other park by the name of Fiesta. And then we have half of our group over on St. Thomas area, 6th Street, and they were just going down that way. And next week, Tuesday, the same thing we're doing here, we will do in our city. Our city is in need of a lot. So if we can get all these trucks and all these excavators, however you call them, but backhoe and so on, if we can take them to Belmopan, we'd be happy too.
You guys suffered hurricane damage as well?
Oh yes, we have. We have a lot of fallen trees. Our debris is a lot, but not unsurmountable. We'll be able to get our debris day by day and get Belmopan back to where we want it.
One of the parks that Mayor Palacio and her team from Belmopan cleaned was located in the Freetown area. And while he is not responsible for parks and playgrounds, Belize City Councillor Albert Vaughn is the chairman for the PUP Freetown office and decided to be a part of the exercise. He expressed gratitude for work that would have cost Belize City more money and time to get done.
We don't know where another disaster don't have to be a hurricane. And so we highly appreciate, right, what the Belmopan City Council have done. I even made a truck from Belmopan, which is not a PUP city, town council, right, it's national, right, had showed up and put in his work. The main effort is to clean up the city, pick up debris, right, but we have not been cutting the parks, right? We have not been cleaning the drains because those are not the priority for the council right now. So what Belmopan did this morning here, man, that is excellent. And you are right, it saved us a lot of dollars and cents.
After the break, Belize's national statement says how many lives must be sacrificed before there is urgent climate action.
You have been a safe driver all your life when an unavoidable accident happens. But this does not mean that your insurance premium must increase. With RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, safe drivers will not lose their no-claims discounts because of those minor, unavoidable accidents. For more information on RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, contact us at 223-5734. When it comes to motor insurance, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Mr. Ronald Gordon, our Chief Met Officer, confirmed that Lisa made landfall at 3:20 p.m. yesterday, 3rd November, 10 miles south of Belize City.
The impact of Hurricane Lisa on Belize City has been devastating. Families' lives have been disrupted. People, livelihoods, business livelihoods obviously has been severely impacted. The goal really is to transform these hurricane weather-beaten streets and neighborhoods into livable, traversable spaces again. Getting back to some measure of normalcy. It's a wide cross-section of partners encompassing both public, private sector, of course being led by the government of Belize, the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have NEMO with us, we have CEMO, we have the Belize City Council, the Orange Walk Town Council, the BDF, the Coast Guard, and a wide scope of other partners. Obviously, their efforts here today is being met with great enthusiasm and optimism by the people of Belize City. For us at CIDCO, it means more muscle on the ground to achieve the task. We face one of the greatest natural disasters ever brought upon the city in my lifetime, in their lifetime. We face it together. Now it's even more important that we face the recovery process, the rebuilding process together. We must exercise patience on all accord.
BWS was proactive and very responsive to the restoration of services, especially in vulnerable areas impacted by Hurricane Lisa. As part of our social responsiveness, BWS collaborated with the Belize City Council in cleanup efforts to remove debris and get the commercial city back to its natural economic state. As a responsible corporate citizen, BWS also ensured key accounts such as hospitals and other relative industry were provided needed water. Additionally, we donated $15,000 to the Sister Cecilia Home for the elderly to assist with the reconstruction of the home. BWS takes this opportunity to thank all of our valued customers for their patience and collaboration during the restoration process, as it takes this type of resilience to rebuild the affected areas. The board and management thanks our employees for their dedication and willingness to respond during this challenging time.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
Hello, this is the Inter-Office Basketball League office. How may I help?
This is the Central Health Customs basketball team. We saw on breaking news the tough enough team going into Mappe is getting their ring finger done. Well, we would like for you to deliver one message to the Puffy Puff basketball team. Tell them that the only ring they will receive, that's suffering come Friday night. The finals is here! The finals is here! This Friday, 8 p.m. at the Belize Civic Center is the Benny's Inter-Office Basketball League, game 1 of the best of 3 series. Rico Black and his undefeated tough enough team, led by Francis Naitiarana, Ian Renee, and Jamal Kelly, battling against the young and upstart Central Health Customs, who will answer with the #1 point guard in Belize, who dropped another 30 points on the Coast Guard, Glency Coupe Lopez, alongside Akeem Evans and Stephen Wade, who will be crowned the IBL champions. This is as big as it gets. This Friday night, November 18, at the Belize Civic Center, beginning at 8 p.m. sharp. Tough Enough Tours versus Central Health Customs. Who will bling the ring? Bring out the entire family for the IBL Finals, y'all! Just another level! Sponsors: Receivers Imports, JMW Supermarket, Mahib's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Posh and Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Benny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Creme, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
Today, government leaders took turns making national statements regarding climate change and their respective countries' positions on the crisis. The speeches were strong, especially those coming from countries like Belize that have been experiencing increasingly severe impacts of climate change. This morning, the head of the Belize delegation at COP27 in Egypt, Minister Orlando Hebet, took to the podium and did not mince words in calling out larger countries that have been built on exploiting fossil fuels and who have historically accepted responsibility for the climate crisis facing the world today. The Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management prefaced his statement on the recent devastation in Belize caused by Hurricane Lisa, saying that there is approximately $100 million in physical and social damage, with 500 homes lost and 5,000 persons in shelters. He went on to say, quote, "Losses of this singular event are about 10% of the national budget, money that could otherwise be used for health, education, and poverty alleviation," unquote. The impact of Hurricane Lisa is the reality of the climate emergency and the need for immediate action. Minister Hebet questions how many lives must be sacrificed before there is urgent climate action.
Small island developing states such as Belize continue to be severely impacted by climate change across all sectors. SIDS continue to face natural, health-related, social and economic shocks that are beyond domestic control. The growing vulnerability of SIDS is a direct consequence of being in climate-sensitive zones and are especially prone to the destructive impacts of climate change, with damage costing approximated $12.6 billion per annum. Losses due to natural hazards exceed an average of $46 million per year in Belize. Even in the face of these challenges, Belize continues to implement targeted actions to mitigate and to help our people to adapt to the impacts of climate change. Belize's updated NDC shows a 5% increase in overall commitment. UNFCCC synthesis reports on NDCs show that even if all unconditional and conditional nationally determined contributions, the combined pledges of 193 parties of the Paris Agreement would put the world on track for achieving 2.5 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of the century. Such a scenario will inevitably lead to overshoot of the 1.5 degrees centigrade goal, resulting in irreversible impacts on SIDS. This would necessitate making drastic and unprecedented emission cuts across all sectors. This COP is an implementation COP. We need action. Where are those actions? In how many COPs have we been arguing for urgent climate action? And how many more do we need to have? How many lives do we need to sacrifice to solve the biggest crisis we face in our civilization?
In his national statement, the minister speaks to Belize prioritizing its critical forest resource with effective policies, strategies, and meaningful actions resulting in a national forest cover of over 60%. But that it becomes all for nothing if there is no true action from the G20 countries and other large polluters. Minister Hebet goes on to make a call for action and for the inclusion of Taiwan to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change.
We join the call for the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty, We need stronger commitments and actions from the G20 and other large polluters. We need to keep 1.5 alive. Mr. President, urgent actions need to be implemented for the reduction of emissions from critical sectors such as energy, transport, forest, waste, and agriculture. In his speech a few days ago, President Biden spoke of climate justice and reiterated that no one should be left behind. Mr. President, Taiwan, as the world's 21st largest economy, should be afforded the opportunity to share its technologies, resources, and expertise with the world in addressing climate change. Therefore, the government of Belize supports Taiwan and calls for its professional, pragmatic, and constructive participation in the UNFCCC. Mr. President, progress has been slow over the years, but at COP27 we have a make-or-break opportunity to get on track. Climate action and the provision of support to those in need must be given top priority. The world is depending on us, and we cannot let them down.
It's the final week of COP27, and the power brokers are now finalizing the negotiations going forward. High-level ministerial meetings have been taking place, and countries have been taking advantage of the opportunities being afforded to network and learn climate-smart practices and what's best for their situations on the ground. While there have been discussions around mechanisms associated with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, readily accessing climate finance for adaptation and mitigation continues to be an issue. News 5's Dwayne Moody spoke with members of the Belize delegation about tapping into available climate finance.
There were several side events and negotiations taking place at COP27 today, and the Belize delegation has been making sure that Belize is at the forefront of the discussion when it comes to accessing climate finance for adaptation and mitigation efforts. Chief Executive Officer Dr. Kenrick Williams and Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management Orlando Habet attended meetings and made presentations with the Global Environment Facility and on Article 6 on accessing climate finance.
Finance for mitigation measures, finance for adaptation. We're looking for finance, of course, now for loss and damage.
Also on the ground as part of the Belize delegation is Executive Director of the Protected Areas Conservation Trust, Nayari Diaz Perez. Many may not know, but PACT plays a vital role as an accredited entity for the Adaptation Fund and the Green Climate Fund. And so, it has helped with accessing climate financing via these Global Climate Fund facilities.
For us as an accredited entity, we have the role of supporting the deployment of those resources at the country level. For Belize, we are currently the only national entity that has been so accredited, and so our other equally important role is to support the government of Belize in deploying those resources at the country level and at the local level. So for us, it is very important to be here listening in, following and participating in the discussions as much as possible. Because the decisions and the developments that happen at COP have a direct and indirect impact on the work that we do in that supporting role, not just to the climate funds, but also to the government of Belize.
The ease of access to climate funding for mitigation and adaptation, not to mention the recently added loss and damage component, is another issue that countries have been facing. Belize has been building its capacity to be able to access these funds.
The access to the financing by countries and how easy it is or it is not is one of the very reasons why the climate funds have been working through the modality of direct access entities, because they have been promoting a more direct access by countries to the funds. And so that is the role that entities like PAC play when it comes to giving countries an easier process to access those funds instead of rather the traditional way that we go through multilateral organizations and international organizations to access those funds. One of the big discussions that has been happening is the creation of another mechanism for benefit of countries when it comes to loss and damage, and the benefits that such a mechanism would bring to countries like Belize that are highly vulnerable and suffer the greatest lives lost and damage from the climate change impact.
Belize, through the Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Forest Degradation Program, better known as the REDD+, has been able to enhance its forest carbon stocks. This puts the country in a better position to access sources of climate finance.
We have also, as a country, taken all the steps necessary to be able to get our information and data ready so that whatever information we gathered from our forest through the REDD+ Plus program, to be able to register those, to verify those. We have taken some of those credits and emissions reductions that have gone into our NDCs, but whatever now is available, whether for voluntary credits or REDD+ credits, we would like to see how we can monetize those so that we can get some financing. It is not direct financing coming from UNFCCC or any other financial institution to assist in other areas, but it is something that we have worked for. As a matter of fact, Belize, as one of the rainforest nations, has really preserved and conserved its forests for many, many years at the expense of what? It's an opportunity cost. So other countries who have used it up for development of their own country and their people, and we have sacrificed those. So it is time that we start to get paid for some of those. But it is not as easy as we think. So there will be a registry process. We have to see how we can put it on a platform. That platform will be able to market it, and we will try to see how we can get the most out of every credit.
Reporting from COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, for News 5, I am Dwayne Moody.
Speaking about carbon credits, there are several interested parties who want to engage in Belize's carbon market, even as the mechanism is being finalized. And today, following sessions this morning, Minister Orlando Hebet and CEO Dr. Kenrick Williams met casually with representatives of an interested party to look at the potential opportunity for business. In an interview with Minister Hebet following that meeting, he said that Belize is looking for maximum returns on the investments it has made in the environment.
We have interested parties, 2, 3, 4 maybe, and we're trying to see how we can get the credible ones and the ones that can give us the best buck for our credits. It all depends on who you're speaking to, but those out on the market are talking now about rating of that carbon. So we have rating agencies. We will rate ours high, of course, because ours have a high biodiversity value. We have 60% of our country in forest. We have a large biodiversity. All these areas, not only because of the carbon, but because of the water that flows through in these areas. And so, well, when we start making our brochure, well, we protect the macaw, we protect all parrots, we have the largest jaguar reserve, and so all these will come into our marketing strategy to be able to get the highest quality put out there so that we can also get the highest value possible. We're willing to hear out the buyers, but as I mentioned, we have to get them registered, they have to be on that platform, and then look at the potential buyers. But also we have to be, when we go back, we are getting this information, we go back, we discuss it with our Ministry of Finance, we take it to Cabinet to make a final decision. So Cabinet will ultimately decide what to do. But the suggestion right now, and what I can say is that we are looking at exploring maybe taking a portion of it and trying it with a certain market to see how that plays out, and then we can decide, because you can sell all or you can sell just a portion.
Minister Hebet says that the responsibility as a country is to put back some of the monies from the sale of carbon credits into conservation to assist with national development. This may be done via the sharing of proceeds for the stewards of these forests. On Monday evening, opposition leader Shine Barrow issued a release calling for the removal of the climate change portfolio from Minister Orlando Habet. Barrow claims that the Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management has abused his authority and falsified the COP registration process for personal reasons. This is because, for the second time in 2 consecutive COPs, Minister Habet has had his wife accompany him. The leader of the opposition calls it, quote, an opportunity for a honeymoon in the sandy beaches and clear waters of the Egyptian resort town known as Sharm el-Sheikh, unquote. The opposition goes on to call on the Prime Minister to conduct a forensic audit on COP27 to ensure that both taxpayers and grant funds were appropriately and transparently accounted for. Well, today our news team on the ground asked Minister Habet for a response.
It is really petty. If the leader of the opposition did that, I think that he has to look at what he wrote, hoping that it is not something that will affect him later on. I think they are desperate. They want to get something on the news. They want to have something out there. They also have to be careful because when you attack a woman, you have to be careful. You can make your comments and disagree with the process. I came to COP, and yes, I brought my wife, but I paid for her expenses. They did it last year through the president of the union. I had to appear in one of the media houses to dispel that misinformation that was given out. We didn't even get an apology from him directly. I understand that he made an apology afterwards. And maybe rightly so, the leader of the opposition might have to do the same. But he has so many problems within his own party that he is trying to shift gear, trying to push things aside, deflect what is happening in his party to try to attract some attention, to get some news. I'm sorry for him in a way.
When we return, cultural food and music from southern Belize punctuated the weekend.
Did you know that gender discrimination affects men and boys too? In the workplace, social attitudes prevent men from pursuing lucrative careers in social services and health services, among others. In the Caribbean, boys are less likely to finish secondary and tertiary education. In the family, gender stereotypes inhibit men from being affectionate with their families and place great pressure on them to confront critical life challenges alone. Gender discrimination hurts everyone. Let's join forces where all Belizeans have the opportunity to develop their full potential as human beings.
We encourage you to celebrate International Men's Day on November 19th under the theme Recognizing Belizean Men and Boys. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Families and Children in collaboration with UNICEF.
Who offers the best home internet experience? The truth is, Digi, of course. Diginet has the largest fiber network and the fastest speeds with the most reliable service. That's more learning, more earning, more gaming, more bonding, more sharing, getting more things done. And now, Diginet is even more affordable with the new entry plan, a 20 megabits per second fiber connection for just $49 monthly, and increased speeds in all plans. The truth is, only Digi has the ultimate home internet experience, with savings up to $270 when you bundle. Wireless and cable can't give you that. So what are you waiting for? Sign up or make the switch to Diginet today to enjoy more speeds to get more done. Digi, our national telecom.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
November 19th will mark the 220th year since the first Garinagu arrived on our shores from St. Vincent. And each year, there is no shortage of celebration in that regard. News 5's Marian Ali was on special assignment in the Toledo district over the weekend and picked up on the sights, sounds, and tastes of the Garifuna culture. She also stopped in at a Maya family to see what was cooking, as she brings you this week's edition of Culture Tuesday.
The opening of the Battle of the Drums weekend came in the form of a food and fete gala at the PG Sports Auditorium on Friday night. It signaled the official countdown to November 19 festivities. The event saw stage performances by the country's top Garifuna bands and artists, including the Sweet Pain Band. For Darius Avila, who started organizing the yearly event in 2006, there was a steady decline in the conveyance of the Garifuna culture, but particularly the language.
The Garifuna culture was deteriorating, the language particularly, and of course the general state of the culture. And so we decided in PG, my mom and I were talking over our breakfast table, and she was lamenting, and so was I, that you know what, this cannot continue to be, because this is not what we know in terms of the culture.
Avila said he and his mom came up with an idea to salvage their culture.
We needed to put together some structured programs that would have the effect of revitalizing, reviving the culture. But two, we needed to ensure that we can finance it. And thus, the reason for this weekend, this is a fundraiser. And all the money we make, we infuse into our Garifuna culture, what we call Garifuna cultural retrieval and preservation.
To preserve the Garifuna language, Avila said there are summer camps, as well as an annual Garifuna translation contest. For the musical aspect, the program conducts a high school version of the Battle of the Drums and the Belize Garifuna song competition, and a weekend of drumming, singing, and dance. Attendees at Friday night's fete paid an entrance fee that covered their dancing enjoyment and a 3-course meal that featured a wide array of Garifuna treats and dishes.
Appetizers were like kong soup, cassava chips with fish dip. In terms of the main course, we have hudut, bundiga, tapo, served with fish, lobster, or conch. And likewise, the dessert, we have potato pong and cassava cake. And in terms of the drink, we have hiu and sahol.
But Garifuna cuisine was not the only feature on the menu this weekend. Over in Dolores Village, just a couple miles from the border with Guatemala, the Maya women of that community were preparing their traditional meal, caldo with chicken and white rice, for an event. Abrelia Pan took us on a cooking tour.
This is the ginger leaf, our local ginger. This is the culantro, and I'm going to put it in the meat. This have the seasonal and the black pepper, and these are the culantro.
That is all that you put?
And I'm going to put the onion too. We boil the meat inside, and when it's getting cooked, then we put the recado in it, and it becomes red. The ore, we call it in Quechua.
Okay, well, how does that look? Is it a herb or a seasoning? It's a herb, like a leaf?
Just like this, like leaf too.
Okay.
And if we have like vegetables like chocho, cocoyam, we put it inside.
There was no music in Dolores Village, but as a little extra treat, we got to learn firsthand how the Mayas of that village prepare handmade tortillas from scratch.
From the cob, we shell it, then we cook the corn. Maybe like today we cook the corn. Tomorrow we will grind it.
Wash it.
And we will grind it. We will wash it and we will grind it. Then we make the tortilla.
Yeah. Okay, so, it takes like a day. Okay. It has to set overnight, I guess.
Yes.
I see. Southern Belize is known for these delectable dishes, whether it is Garifuna food or a Mayan dish. Whichever one you prefer, bon appetit. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
A new director has been named at the Institute of Creative Arts. Kim Vasquez has been operating as the acting director of ICA for the past 2 years. She has now been named as the official director of ICA. She is no stranger to creative arts in Belize. In 2009, Vasquez joined the Institute of Creative Arts as a screenwriter and video producer. In 2011, she transferred to ICA's program department, where her focus was on youth development through programs such as the National Festival of Arts and ICA Summer Arts Institute. In her new role, Vasquez must work to revive the fading institute. She spoke with us about how she intends to do just that.
It is a great honor to step into the position. As you said, I've been acting in the position or holding over for the past 2 years. And that was a challenging period, most certainly, but I am pleased to say we were able to keep ICA going and to keep a lot of our key programs active at the same time. Definitely we have a lot of work ahead of us, and yes, one of the things on the top of the list is to rebuild the institute, to restaff, so that we can continue to expand the work that we've been doing. We also need to expand beyond the Bliss Center and to get back our footing within the districts as well. So we look forward to having that ICA presence not only in Belize City but across the country. The immediate goal is to continue the work we've been doing, to create that enabling environment for artists and for creatives, and to gradually work as well to not only recognizing them for the value of their work, the arts and culture, the value of arts and culture, but to gradually start moving towards the development of a creative economy.
With a background in youth development, Vasquez says investment in young and upcoming artists will be made a priority under her leadership. She told us what that will look like.
My foundation was actually youth development. I was the youth development. And so definitely anything concerning the next generation of artists and creatives will be one of the key facets of ICA. I look forward to working with stakeholders like Beltrade and BTB, as we said, towards moving towards a creative economy, but a part of ensuring that sustainability has to be working as well with our youth stakeholders and working closely with Ministry of Education. As I said, you know, we have been doing this for years, developing the programs, and some of them are geared towards older artists, but we also try to keep that balance where we ensure that we have activities and training as well for younger persons, for children and youths as well.
Just ahead, direct flight from Belize to Honduras via Tropic Air.
How are we to measure the success of our lives? For many, an ordinary life should have the following: a job, a house, enough money to buy a new car. But what if we threw out the ordinary? What could escaping ordinary at our jobs do? How about for our marriages? What if I told you we could all be escaping ordinary? Join us as we begin our new series.
Come and see. I need to show you something. A product that is destroying our planet. To make space for it, millions of trees are cut down. To grow it, chemicals poison the land, the soil, the water, To produce it, the air becomes saturated with toxins. And when it's discarded, our environment is polluted in ways that we can't afford. Tobacco costs us more than 8 million lives every year. It also costs us 600 million trees, 200,000 hectares of land, 84 million tons of CO2, 22 billion tons of water. Tobacco is not only poisoning people, it's poisoning our planet.
Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
There are over 50,000 people in Belize with ties to Honduras, according to Anthony Mahler, the Minister of Tourism. So Honduras is a natural market for the airline industry. That is one of the main reasons why Tropicair now has a non-stop flight from Belize to Honduras. The direct flight also opens a new door for overnight tourism in Belize and Honduras. With 2 flights per week in the initial phase and more trips to be added, there will be no shortage of space for you to book your next direct flight to Honduras. News 5's Paul Lopez traveled with Tropicair today on its inaugural flight to Honduras.
Tropicair now has non-stop flights from the Philip Golson International Airport to the Ramon Vera Morales International Airport in San Pedro Sula, Honduras. The inaugural flight left the PGI-8 at 7 a.m., following a brief ceremony inside the airport.
Tropicair was founded to bring tourists to San Pedro. Together with our partner hotels and the Belize Tourist Board, we've had great success in growing tourism in all of Belize. The airline industry is the door through which tourists arrive. Today we are opening another door to San Pedro Sula to continue that growth.
Like Mr. Schulte said, airlift into a country for the overnight sector is the lifeblood. We have put an inordinate amount of effort into building airlift into Belize, going to routes, going to the airlines headquarters to meet them, to talk to them, to pitch Belize, to provide incentives. And we promised 2 years ago that we will do everything possible to continue to build airlift. With the partnership with Tropic Air, we have done so again. As I understand, this is their 4th international flight, so I would like everybody to give them a round of applause because it is important.
1, 2, Steve, 3.
After the ceremony, it was time to board Tropic Air's Beechcraft 1900. The maiden departure was at capacity. Travelers whose final destination was Honduras, as well as BTB representatives and members of the media, made the flight. The journey to San Pedro Sula was without any hiccups. The seating arrangement provided sufficient legroom and comfort. Every passenger, except for those seated at the farthest end of the aircraft, was able to enjoy a window seat. Within 40 minutes, the aircraft touched down on the tarmac at the Ramon Vera Morales International Airport.
Greetings to the good people of Belize. We're really glad as a Chamber of Commerce to see that now we're opening a new route that is going to put us closer together. We're going to be able to travel. I'm thinking myself about going to Belize and visiting for the first time, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of people from Belize coming to Honduras as well. For us, it's really important because this airport, Ramon Viera Morales, is the most important one for the country. So just for the people of Belize can know, Cortés represents about 70% of the GDP of Honduras. We have 80% of commerce, exports and imports coming through this area in Honduras, the northern part. Next to the airport, we have also an aduana, I forget the name in English, but this means it's a good thing, it's a good sign, it's a great news for the country, for both countries, that now we're going to have a new airline, a new route that is going to give us the option to travel.
To our friendship with Honduras and our new route connecting all of us together.
Tropic Air's new non-stop flight from Belize to Honduras was celebrated with a champagne toast inside the departure lounge in Honduras. Initially, 2 flights will depart from the PGIA on a weekly basis. Tropic Air CEO says the current flights are timed to connect with early flights in San Pedro Sula.
I think that this is in the very early stages of regional development, and it'll take us perhaps 2 years before we will see any return on this flight. But we have to start at some time, and I think with the market in Belize full and expanding, I think we don't want to miss the opportunity to expand it further. It's an inconvenient time for the airport, but Honduras has always been friendly. It's always been a friend of Tropic Air. We've had many invitations to fly into Honduras from the government officials over the years. I remember many years ago, and I can't recall the name of the minister right now, but he came to a meeting here and he said, Tropic Air, you can fly anytime you want to Honduras. Don't need any paperwork, nothing.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.